2 weeks after the battle, Admiral Wu Jin stood on the bridge of what had once been Admiral Hyunwoo's flagship. The massive Valerian dreadnought was now under human control, its alien crew held in comfortable detention while human technicians studied every system. "Status report," he said to Commander Yuna, who had become the chief interrogator of captured alien personnel. "It's exactly what we suspected." "Sir?" she replied, holding a tablet full of translated alien documents. "The Valerian Empire has been using the same tactics for 500 years. Overwhelming force, direct assault, demand for immediate surrender. They've conquered over 300 worlds, and it worked every single time. Until now. The interesting part is their psychology. They literally cannot understand what we did to them. The concept of hiding your real strength while pretending to be weak is completely alien to their thinking." Admiral Wu Jin walked to the main display, which showed star charts recovered from the alien ship's computers. Hundreds of red dots marked conquered worlds throughout the galaxy. Each one had fallen to the same brutal tactics. Dr. Changsu, the xenobiologist who had been studying the captured aliens, joined them on the bridge. "I've completed my analysis of Valerian psychology," he said. "They evolved as apex predators on a world with no serious threats. Their entire culture is built around the idea that the strongest always wins. Concepts like deception, guerrilla warfare, or tactical retreat simply don't exist in their military doctrine. That explains why they flew straight into our trap," Wu Jin said. "They saw our fake ship struggling and assumed that was our entire capability." "Exactly. In their minds, if we had better ships, we would have shown them. The idea that we might be hiding our real strength was unthinkable." Commander Yuna pulled up another document on her tablet. "The interrogations have revealed something else, sir. The Valerian Empire isn't just a military force. It's the only government these people have ever known. They've been conquering worlds for so long that they've forgotten how to do anything else." Colonel Sang-hoon entered the bridge carrying a datapad full of intelligence reports. "Ma'am, we've finished analyzing their star charts and communication logs. The picture isn't pretty." He activated the main display, showing a three-dimensional map of local galactic space. Red markers indicated Valerian-controlled systems, while yellow markers showed worlds that had been completely destroyed for resisting. "Over 300 enslaved worlds," he continued. "Billions of people living under Valerian occupation. And according to their records, at least 50 worlds were completely destroyed when they refused to surrender." The bridge fell silent as everyone absorbed the scale of the atrocity. The Valerian Empire wasn't just a military threat. It was a galactic cancer that had been spreading for centuries. General Ha Young, now Supreme Commander of all human space forces, arrived with the latest fleet status reports. "Admiral, the integration of captured Valerian ships is proceeding ahead of schedule. Our engineers have figured out how to operate their systems and, more importantly, how to improve them." "Improvements?" Wu Jin asked. "Dr. Hyejin's team has been working around the clock. It turns out that Valerian technology is incredibly advanced but also incredibly inefficient. They build everything to be as powerful as possible, but they never learn to be subtle." Dr. Hyejin herself appeared on the bridge looking tired but excited. "Admiral, you need to see this. We've successfully integrated human stealth technology with Valerian ship designs. The result is a vessel that's completely invisible to Valerian sensors, but has all the firepower of their battleships." She brought up technical schematics on the display. "We're calling them ghost ships. To any Valerian sensors, they'll appear to be empty space. But they carry enough firepower to destroy a planet." Captain Jae-sung, who had been promoted to lead the new ghost ship program, smiled grimly. "We've completed the first prototype. It's a modified Valerian cruiser with human stealth systems and kinetic weapons. Field tests show it's completely undetectable." Admiral Wu Jin studied the schematics with growing excitement. "How many can we build?" "We captured over 2,000 intact Valerian ships," Dr. Hyejin replied. "With the resources from their fleet and the manufacturing capacity of Earth, we could have 1,000 ghost ships operational within 6 months." General Hae Young pulled up another display showing ship production schedules. "But that's not the best part, Admiral. We've also captured their entire database of conquered worlds. We know exactly where their occupation forces are stationed, how strong their defenses are, and most importantly, how to contact the enslaved populations." Commander Yejin, head of the new Liberation Fleet Planning Committee, stepped forward. "Sir, we've already established contact with resistance groups on 12 worlds. They've been waiting for centuries for someone to help them fight back." The implications were staggering. Humanity had gone from defending their home world to becoming the leaders of a galactic rebellion in just 2 weeks. President Kim arrived on the bridge for the daily briefing, accompanied by representatives from every nation on Earth. "Admiral, the United Nations has reached a decision. We're authorizing the Liberation Campaign." "Ma'am, we can't leave those worlds under Valerian control," the president continued. "Not when we have the power to free them. The human race is officially at war with the Valerian Empire." Captain So Young, now commanding a squadron of converted ghost ships, grinned. "Finally, time to show the galaxy what happens when you mess with Earth." Admiral Wu Jin looked around the bridge at his officers, humans who had defeated the most powerful military force in galactic history using nothing but intelligence, patience, and superior strategy. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "for 500 years, the Valerian Empire has conquered world after world using the same tactics. Overwhelming force, direct assault, brutal occupation. They thought they were invincible because no one had ever fought back effectively." He gestured toward the star charts showing hundreds of enslaved worlds. But they made one crucial mistake. They assumed that all intelligent species think like they do. They never encountered a species that had spent its entire history learning new ways to fight. General He Young nodded. The Valerians conquered primitive worlds that fought them directly. They never faced an enemy that could think tactically, strategically, and 3 steps ahead. Exactly. And now we're going to visit every single one of their conquered worlds with a simple message. The galaxy's greatest empire just lost their entire fleet to a species they thought was primitive. The age of Valerian dominance is over. Dr. Chang-Su looked at the psychological profiles of the captured aliens. "Sir, there's something else. The Valerian military caste has never experienced defeat. Their entire identity is built around being unbeatable. This loss isn't just military. It's going to shatter their entire worldview." "Good," Admiral Wu Jin said, "because we're going to make sure this is just the beginning." Commander Yuna brought up the deployment schedules. "First Liberation Fleet launches in 72 hours, sir. 12 ghost ships carrying freedom to the Kepler system. After that, we hit their supply lines, their communication networks, and their occupation forces. And the best part," Captain Jae-sung added, "is that they'll never see us coming. Their sensors still can't detect our ships. We'll liberate world after world and they won't know how we're doing it." Admiral Wu Jin smiled as he looked at the tactical displays. The Valerian Empire had ruled the galaxy through fear and superior technology, but they had never encountered an enemy that fought with superior intelligence. "Attention all ships," he announced over the fleet communication system. "This is Admiral Wu Jin of the Terran Liberation Fleet. For centuries, the galaxy has known only the rule of the strong over the weak. Today we change that. Today we show the galaxy that intelligence is stronger than brute force, that strategy is more powerful than superior weapons, and that freedom is worth fighting for." The largest military campaign in galactic history was about to begin, and it would be led by the species that had turned apparent weakness into overwhelming strength, teaching the entire galaxy that sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one who doesn't fight the way you expect. While Admiral Hyunwoo watched the pathetic human ship struggle toward his fleet, he had no idea that the real Earth Defense Force was already surrounding him. Hidden in plain sight, 50,000 human ships waited for the perfect moment to strike. Dr. Hai Jin had spent 20 years developing the technology that made this ambush possible. In her secret laboratory on the far side of Earth's moon, she had solved a problem that had puzzled military scientists for decades: how to hide an entire fleet from advanced alien sensors. The answer wasn't more powerful shields or exotic stealth technology. It was much simpler and far more clever. Human ships produced no energy signature because they didn't need to. While alien vessels burned massive amounts of power to operate, human technology had evolved to be incredibly efficient. The key was understanding how their sensors work, she explained to her research team as they monitored the battle preparations. Valerian scanners look for heat, radiation, and electromagnetic emissions. They expect every spaceship to broadcast its presence like a lighthouse. But what if a ship doesn't do any of those things? Commander Dong Hyun had been living inside a fake asteroid for 3 months, waiting for this day. His fighter was powered by a closed-loop fusion reactor that produced zero external radiation. The ship's hull was covered with metamaterials that absorbed scanner beams instead of reflecting them. To Valerian sensors, he simply didn't exist. Around him, his squadron of 40 fighters waited in identical hiding spots. Each asteroid in this field had been carefully hollowed out and equipped with human ships. What looked like natural space debris was actually the most dangerous weapons platform in the solar system. Ghost Leader to all units, he whispered into his radio. Enemy fleet is now passing through Grid 7. Maintain silence until the signal. Lieutenant Yun-ji piloted her corvette from inside what appeared to be an old Earth satellite. The ancient communication array had been gutted and replaced with human weapon systems. Her ship's engines were completely cold, its reactor in standby mode. She had been floating here for 2 months, eating recycled food and breathing recycled air, all for this moment. Contact, she reported quietly. 3 Valerian destroyers passing within 50 meters. They have no idea we're here. The alien ships cruised past her position, their massive hulls blocking out the stars. Their engines glowed with fierce energy, their weapons charged and ready to destroy any resistance. But they were scanning for enemies that fought like they did, with massive power and obvious signatures. Captain Minho commanded, an entire squadron hidden within what looked like a debris field from an old mining operation. His ships were disguised as chunks of metal and rock, scattered across several thousand cubic kilometers of space. Each piece of debris contained weapons that could destroy a Valerian battleship. His tactical display showed the alien fleet moving through his field like fish swimming into a net. They had no idea they were surrounded by enemies. Their formation was perfect for fighting other aliens, but completely wrong for fighting humans. Amazing, his tactical officer whispered. They're not even trying to scan for hidden threats. They assume if they can't see us, we don't exist. That's going to be their last mistake, Minho replied. The human ambush had been years in the making. Every piece of space debris around Earth had been cataloged and equipped with sensors. Abandoned satellites had been converted into weapon platforms. Asteroid fields had been turned into hidden fleet bases. Even old space stations had been hollowed out and filled with human ships. Major Sung Jin commanded the largest hidden base, built inside an asteroid that had been mined hollow decades ago. From the outside, it looked like any other space rock. Inside it contained 300 fighters, 24 corvettes, and enough supplies to wage war for years. All Phantom Fleet units. This is Asteroid Base Prime. He transmitted on the hidden frequency that alien sensors couldn't detect. Enemy formation is entering the kill zone. Prepare for combat deployment. The aliens had made a fundamental error in understanding human psychology. They assumed that all intelligent species thought like they did, that bigger was always better, that more power was always the answer. That overwhelming force was the only way to win wars, but humans had learned different lessons. For thousands of years, humans had fought each other using every trick, strategy, and deception possible. They had learned that the strongest army didn't always win. Sometimes the smartest army won instead. Sergeant Boram led a boarding team hidden inside what looked like a piece of broken space station. Their assault ship was disguised as debris, drifting slowly toward the alien fleet. When the time came, they would attach to enemy vessels and capture them from the inside. Remember, she told her team, these aliens have never fought anyone who boarded their ships. Their internal security will be minimal. Once we're inside, we own the ship. The Valerian Empire had conquered hundreds of worlds, but they had always fought the same kind of enemy, civilizations that met them in open battle with the best technology they had. No one had ever pretended to be weaker than they really were. No one had ever used the aliens' own expectations against them. Captain Wu Jin, still playing his role as a panicking civilian, watched his sensors as alien ships passed through the hidden human formations. The enemy was so confident, so careless that they weren't even maintaining proper formation discipline anymore. They think this is over, he reported to the hidden command center. They're already planning their victory parade. Admiral Hyunwoo stood on his bridge, watching the approaching human ships with satisfaction. In a few minutes, he would give the order to destroy them. Then his fleet would move to Earth orbit and begin the occupation. Another world would fall to Valerian power. He had no idea that he was looking at the smallest part of the human defense force. The real Earth fleet wasn't approaching him. It was already here, hidden all around him, waiting for the perfect moment to spring the largest military trap in galactic history. Lieutenant Kyung-min, monitoring the battle from Earth's command center, watched as the alien fleet moved deeper into the ambush zone. Every human ship was in position. Every weapon was charged and ready. The moment they had all trained for was finally here. All units report ready, he told Captain Jimin. The alien fleet is completely surrounded. They have no idea what's about to hit them. Jimin looked at the tactical display showing both fleets. The fake human ship still pretending to malfunction, and the real human fleet invisible to alien sensors. In 30 seconds, she would give the signal that would change the course of galactic history. 50,000 ships, she said quietly. 50,000 human crews who have been waiting months for this moment. All hidden from the most advanced military force in the galaxy. The aliens thought they were hunting helpless prey. They had no idea they had flown into a trap set by the most dangerous predators the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Hyunwoo raised his hand to give the order to fire. The pathetic human ships were close enough now. It was time to end this farce and show these primitives the true power of the Valyrian Empire. All ships, prepare to Phoenix. The single word came from Captain Jimin, transmitted on frequencies the aliens couldn't detect. Instantly, the entire battlefield exploded into chaos. The malfunctioning human ship suddenly blazed with power. Captain So-young's vessel, which had been tumbling helplessly through space, straightened out and accelerated like a bullet fired from a gun. Her engines, hidden behind false panels, roared to life with impossible speed. What the? Admiral Hyunwoo stared at his tactical display as the human ships transformed before his eyes. How are they moving so fast? But that was just the beginning. All around the Valyrian fleet, space itself seemed to come alive. Asteroids split open to reveal hidden warships. Old satellites unfolded into weapon platforms. Pieces of space debris shed their disguises and became fighters moving at incredible speeds. Commander Dong Hyun's asteroid cracked apart as his fighter burst free. Go, Squadron, weapons free. Engage at will. His kinetic cannon fired before the alien sensors even registered his presence. The projectile, a simple piece of metal accelerated to near light speed, punched through the shields of a Valyrian destroyer like they were made of paper. The alien ship exploded in a ball of fire. Impossible, shouted the Valyrian tactical officer. Our shields are rated against plasma weapons and energy beams. How did that penetrate? The answer was simple but devastating. Human weapons weren't energy-based. They were kinetic, solid projectiles moving at relativistic speeds. The aliens had built their defenses to stop energy weapons because that's what every other species in the galaxy used. They had no defense against solid matter moving fast enough to punch through a planet. Lieutenant Yoonji's corvette emerged from its fake satellite disguise and immediately opened fire on a Valyrian cruiser. Her railgun hurled a tungsten rod at 3% of light speed. The projectile hit the alien ship's reactor and the entire vessel vanished in nuclear fire. This is impossible, Admiral Hyunwoo screamed at his tactical display. Where did they all come from? Our sensors showed empty space. Major Sungjin's asteroid base opened like a flower, revealing hundreds of human fighters. Phantom Fleet, launch all ships! Time to show these aliens how humans really fight. The hidden hangar doors rolled back and fighters poured out like angry bees. Each pilot had been waiting months for this moment. They had trained in zero gravity, lived on recycled food and breathed recycled air, all for the chance to defend their home world. Captain Minho's debris field came alive as dozens of disguised ships shed their camouflage. His weapons platform, hidden inside what looked like mining equipment, fired a full spread of kinetic missiles. Each one moved too fast for alien point defenses to track. Target their engines first, he ordered his squadron. Disable them, don't destroy them. We want prisoners. The Valyrian fleet, which had been flying in perfect formation just seconds ago, was now scattered and confused. Ships collided with each other as they tried to avoid the kinetic projectiles appearing from nowhere. Their formation discipline collapsed as captains panicked and broke ranks. Evasive maneuvers, Admiral Hyunwoo ordered. All ships, random patterns. Don't let them target our engines. But it was too late. The human ambush had been perfectly planned. Every alien ship was already targeted by multiple human vessels. The kinetic weapons were impossible to detect until they hit, and by then it was too late to evade. Sergeant Boram's boarding team attached to the hull of a Valyrian battleship that had been disabled by kinetic strikes. Breach in 10 seconds, she called to her squad. Remember, these aliens have never been boarded before. They won't know how to respond. The human boarding pod burned through the alien hull like it was made of tin. Boram's team poured into the ship's corridors, moving with practiced efficiency. The Valyrian crew had never trained for internal combat. They didn't even have small arms. Bridge secured, she reported as her team captured the alien command center. The captain is asking how we got past their shields. Captain Wu Jin, who had been pretending to be a panicking civilian, was now commanding a squadron of assault ships as they systematically disabled the alien fleet. His cargo hauler had transformed into a deadly missile platform. All units focus fire on their command ships, he ordered. Take out their communications and coordination abilities. The human strategy was working perfectly. Instead of trying to destroy the alien fleet, they were capturing it. Every disabled ship was immediately boarded by human teams. Within minutes, dozens of advanced alien vessels were under human control. Admiral Hyunwoo watched in horror as his mighty armada fell apart around him. Ships that had conquered worlds were being taken by primitive humans using weapons that shouldn't even exist. "How?" he whispered. "How did they hide an entire fleet from our sensors?" Lieutenant Kyung-min, monitoring the battle from Earth's command center, smiled as he watched the tactical display. "Because we learned something you never did," he said to himself. "We learned that the best way to win a fight is to make sure your enemy never sees it coming." The battle that was supposed to last hours was over in minutes. The Valerian Imperial Armada, which had conquered hundreds of worlds, had been completely defeated by an enemy they thought was primitive and helpless. Captain Jimin stood in the command center, watching as the last alien ships either surrendered or were disabled. "All units, cease fire! Begin recovery operations. I want every alien ship captured intact." Commander Taeho looked at the battle results with amazement. 50,000 human ships engaged 3,000 alien vessels. Total human losses, 0. Total alien losses, their entire fleet. "How is that possible?" asked President Kim, who had been watching the battle from the secure bunker. "Simple," Jimin replied. "They came here expecting to fight primitives with chemical rockets and nuclear weapons. Instead, they found humans who had been preparing for interstellar war for 20 years. They brought overwhelming force to a battle against an enemy who fights with overwhelming intelligence. The greatest military force in galactic history had just learned a lesson that humans had known for thousands of years. It doesn't matter how big. Your army is if your enemy is smarter than you are." Admiral Hyunwoo sat in his command chair, staring at the human ships that now surrounded his flagship. His mighty armada was gone. His empire's reputation for invincibility was shattered. And worst of all, he still had no idea how it had happened. The humans had just taught the galaxy's greatest military power that there was something more dangerous than superior technology, superior strategy. Admiral Hyunwoo watched his tactical display with growing amusement. The human response was exactly what he had expected from a primitive species. 12 small ships had launched from Earth's surface, moving slowly with chemical rockets. Their energy signatures were weak and unstable. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "the human vessels are approaching. They appear to be malfunctioning." On the main screen, they could see the lead human ship spinning out of control. Smoke poured from its engines. The vessel lurched sideways, then forward, clearly struggling to maintain course. "Pathetic," Hyunwoo said. "They can barely keep their ships flying." Captain So-young gripped her controls as her ship tumbled through space. To anyone watching, it looked like her engines were failing. Sparks flew from damaged panels on her bridge. Warning lights flashed red across every surface. "Control, this is Defense Ship 7, she said into her radio, making sure the aliens could hear every word. "We're losing power. Reactor is overheating!" "I don't know how much longer we can hold together." Behind her, the other crew members worked calmly at their stations. Every malfunction was carefully planned. Every spark was exactly where it needed to be. The ship's real engines were hidden behind false panels. Its real weapons were disguised as cargo containers. In the alien fleet, Lieutenant Kolmar monitored human communications. "Admiral, they're broadcasting on open channels." Complete panic. "Listen to this." The bridge speakers filled with desperate human voices. "Mayday. Mayday, Engine 3 is down. We're venting atmosphere. Defense Fleet Command, our missile system won't lock on. The targeting computer is dead. All ships, fall back. We can't fight them. They're too powerful." Admiral Hyunwoo laughed. "They're already breaking apart before we fired a shot. Record this for the Imperial Archives. Let other worlds see what happens when primitives try to fight the Empire." On Earth, Lieutenant Kyung-min sat in the hidden command center, coordinating the performance of his life. Every desperate radio call was scripted. Every malfunction was timed to the second. The aliens were hearing exactly what they expected to hear. "Phase 1 is working perfectly," he reported to Captain Jimin. "They're completely convinced we're helpless." "Good. Signal the fleet to begin Phase 2. In space, the human ships continued their chaotic approach. One vessel appeared to lose all power, drifting helplessly toward the alien formation. Another started firing missiles far too early, the weapons detonating uselessly thousands of kilometers away from their targets. Commander Wu Jin, piloting what looked like a cargo hauler, let his ship spin wildly while broadcasting frantic distress calls. "We're not military. We're just civilians. Please don't shoot. We have families." The aliens intercepted every transmission. To them, it was proof that Earth had no real military. These weren't warships. They were desperate civilians trying to defend their planet with converted cargo ships and mining equipment. "Sir," the tactical officer said, "the humans are requesting permission to surrender." "Already?" Hyunwoo was disappointed. "I thought they might at least try to fight. Very well. Tell them to shut down their engines and prepare to be boarded." But Captain So Young had other plans. "Negative alien ship," she broadcast. "Our reactor is too unstable. If we shut down now, we'll explode and take half your fleet with us. We need time to safely power down." Hyunwoo frowned. The last thing he wanted was a primitive reactor explosion damaging his ships. Grant them time to stabilize. But maintain weapons lock. Dr. Hyjin monitored the deception from her laboratory hidden deep inside Earth's moon. The aliens were scanning the human ships constantly, but they saw only what humans wanted them to see. Primitive nuclear reactors instead of advanced fusion drives. Basic chemical explosives instead of kinetic weapons. Crude electronics instead of quantum computers. "Their sensors are exactly what we predicted," she reported. "High-energy focused scans designed to detect other high-energy systems. They can't see our low-signature technology at all." The beautiful irony was that human technology had developed along completely different lines than alien technology. While the Valerians built bigger and more powerful systems, humans had learned to build smaller and more efficient ones. While aliens relied on massive energy output, humans had mastered the art of using very little energy to accomplish the same tasks. Commander Dong Hyun floated silently inside what appeared to be a dead satellite. His fighter was powered down to minimal levels, producing no heat signature at all. Around him, thousands of other human pilots waited in similar positions. They were hidden inside asteroids, old space stations, pieces of debris, even fake comets. The alien fleet passed within kilometers of human positions without detecting anything. Their scanners swept back and forth, searching for energy signatures that simply weren't there. To Valerian technology, the human ships were invisible. "All Phantom units, this is Control," came the whisper-quiet transmission. "Maintain radio silence. Enemy is taking the bait perfectly." Admiral Hyunwoo was already planning his victory report to the Valerian High Command. This had been the easiest conquest in Imperial history. The humans were so primitive they couldn't even maintain basic spaceflight. Their weapons were useless, their ships were falling apart, and their crews were panicking. "Prepare boarding shuttles," he ordered. "We'll capture their leadership and begin the occupation immediately. This world will be fully integrated into the Empire within one cycle." But as his ships moved closer to Earth, passing through what appeared to be empty space, they had no idea they were flying through the largest ambush in galactic history. Every piece of space debris around them contained human weapons. Every asteroid hid human ships. Every satellite was actually a human observation post. Captain Minho crouched inside a hollowed-out asteroid, watching alien ships pass just meters away. His kinetic cannon was loaded and ready. Around him, his crew waited for the signal. They had been hiding here for 3 months, living in zero gravity, eating recycled food, all for this moment. The aliens had no idea that humans had been preparing for interstellar war for decades. While they conquered primitive worlds with overwhelming force, humans had been studying those same conquest patterns. Every Valerian victory had been analyzed. Every alien tactic had been studied and countered. Now, as Admiral Hyunwoo's fleet moved confidently toward what they thought was certain victory, they were actually flying into the most carefully planned military operation in human history. "All units stand by," Captain Jimin's voice whispered across the hidden human fleet. "Wait for the signal. Let them get close. Let them think they've won." The aliens had conquered hundreds of worlds, but they had never faced an enemy that fought with deception instead of force. They had never encountered a species that had spent its entire history learning new ways to kill each other. They were about to discover that humans didn't just fight with weapons, they fought with lies, tricks, and traps. and the biggest trap in galactic history was about to close around them. The space around Jupiter suddenly filled with light. Thousands of massive ships appeared from nowhere, their dark hulls blocking out the stars. The Valerian Imperial Armada had arrived at Earth's solar system, and they brought death with them. Admiral Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. The massive warship was 3 kilometers long and bristled with plasma cannons. Behind him, 3,000 more ships waited in perfect formation. Each one was a weapon of war, designed to crush any resistance. "Report," Hyunwoo said to his tactical officer. "Sir, we have located the 3rd planet. Our sensors show basic civilization, chemical rockets, nuclear weapons, primitive radio signals. This will be easy," Hyunwoo smiled. For 500 years, the Valerian Empire had conquered world after world across the galaxy. They always used the same method. Arrive with overwhelming force, demand surrender, and crush anyone who refused. It worked every time. "These humans are barely past their Stone Age," he said. "Send the standard message. Tell them to surrender or face destruction." On Earth, Captain Jimin was drinking coffee in the United Earth Defense Force Command Center when the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed across every screen in the room. She dropped her cup and ran to the main display. "What do we have?" she asked Lieutenant Kyung-min at the sensor station. "Ma'am, you need to see this." His voice was shaking. Long-range scanners picked up massive energy signatures near Jupiter. "The computer says there are over 3,000 ships out there." Jimin stared at the display. The dots representing enemy ships covered the screen like stars. Each one was larger than anything humanity had ever built. Her heart pounded, but she kept her voice calm. "Sound General Quarters. Wake up the President and the Security Council. Get me a direct line to all defense commanders worldwide." Within minutes, every military leader on Earth was staring at the same terrifying display. The alien fleet was moving toward Earth at incredible speed. At their current rate, they would arrive in less than 6 hours. Commander Taeho, head of Earth's Tactical Analysis Division, was studying the enemy formation when something caught his attention. He zoomed in on the lead ships and started analyzing their movement patterns. "This is interesting," he said to himself. "What did you find?" Jimin asked, walking over to his station. "Look at how they're moving. Perfect formation, standard attack pattern, broadcasting on open frequencies. They're not even trying to hide their positions or jam our sensors. Maybe they don't think they need to. Or maybe they've never fought anyone who could actually fight back." Taeho pulled up historical data from Earth's military archives. "Look at this. Every successful military force in human history learned to be careful, to use stealth, to expect the unexpected. These aliens are flying like they're in a parade." Jimin studied the data. The alien ships moved in textbook formations, the kind taught in basic military academy courses. There was no creativity, no adaptation, no sign they expected any real resistance. "They think we're helpless," she said. "That might be exactly what we want them to think." The first alien message arrived 30 minutes later. It came on every radio and television frequency on Earth. The translation was simple and brutal. "People of Earth, I am Admiral Hyunwoo of the Valerian Imperial Armada. Your world is now property of the Valerian Empire. You have 1 hour to surrender unconditionally, lay down all weapons, and prepare for occupation. Any resistance will result in the complete destruction of your planet. This is your only warning." In the command center, President Kim stared at the message. Around the table sat the military leaders of every nation on Earth. For the first time in human history, the entire planet faced the same enemy. "Options?" the president asked. General Hae-young, Supreme Commander of Earth's military forces, spoke first. "Conventional warfare is impossible. Their ships are too big, too advanced, too numerous. If we fight them directly, we lose. Then we surrender," asked the president. "No," Jimin said. "We fight smart." She stood and walked to the main display. "Commander Taeho is right. These aliens fight like they've never lost a battle. They expect us to either surrender immediately or attack them head-on with everything we have. But what if we do neither?" "What are you suggesting?" the president asked. "We make them think they're right about us. We show them exactly what they expect to see. Primitive ships, desperate tactics, complete technological inferiority. We let them think they're winning." General Hae-young frowned. "And then what?" "They destroy our primitive fleet and bomb the planet anyway. Not if we're not really where they think we are." Captain So-young, commander of the Pacific Fleet, leaned forward. "You're talking about the Phantom Project." Jimin nodded. For 20 years, Earth's military had secretly developed ships and weapons designed for one purpose: fighting an enemy with superior technology. The key was not to build bigger guns or stronger shields. The key was to build ships the enemy couldn't see. "We've been preparing for this day," Jimin said. "Not because we knew aliens would come, but because we knew someone someday would try to conquer us. Humans have been conquering each other for thousands of years. We know how it works." Dr. Hyejin, chief scientist of the Secret Defense Project, spoke from her seat. "The Phantom Fleet is ready. 50,000 ships all hidden in plain sight. The aliens' sensors are designed to detect energy signatures and heat sources. Our ships produce neither." "How?" the president asked. "Cold fusion reactors with perfect containment. No radiation leakage, no heat signature, no electromagnetic emissions. The ships are covered with materials that absorb scanner beams instead of reflecting them. To the aliens, they're invisible." Commander Dong Hyun, leader of the Phantom Fleet's strike squadron, smiled grimly. "We've been hiding in asteroid fields, space debris, even old satellites for months, waiting for this exact moment." The room fell silent as everyone realized what they were hearing. Earth wasn't defenseless. It had been preparing for war for decades. "The alien admiral expects to fight primitives with chemical rockets," Jimin said. "Instead, he's about to discover that humans have been thinking about war longer than his species has existed. We don't just fight with weapons. We fight with our minds." Outside, the alien armada continued its approach. Admiral Hyunwoo was already planning the victory celebration. Another world would fall to Valyrian might. Another species would learn to bow before their technological superiority. He had no idea that he was flying into the most carefully prepared trap in galactic history. The humans were about to teach the Valyrian Empire a lesson they would never forget. Never underestimate the species that invented warfare.